Oh yeah, it's review time again, and we're looking at a YA novel. That wasn't weird. Cue the intro, I guess? Hey guys, welcome back to No Regrets, the channel where we hope to glorify God in all that we do, as well as encourage you to read more books. If not, maybe just one more book this year, or one in total. Maybe it's not more. Or maybe you can't read, and I can't really help you with that. But today, we are going to be talking about a YA novel, and as you saw, Keeper of the Lost Cities. Ha ha ha. Okay, so first and foremost, I mentioned this before, and it's gorgeous. I love the colors. The colors are very warm, very inviting, and it's just great. And I'm not gonna say throughout this whole video. I said not moving on. So I'll just give you some first impressions off rip. I keep looking up this way and then over here. I'll give you some first impressions of the book. This will be spoiler free, so you won't have to worry about having any of the content spoiled. There are, I think right now, 10 books, and this is book number 1, obviously, and I so enjoyed it. I'll be honest, my first impression of the book was it was really quick paced. Like literally within the first 20 pages or so, you get this whole fast, can't think of the word that I want to think of. It's really quick paced, but information overload almost. Where it's this is a girl, and so maybe minor spoiler. So girl, and she has the ability to read people's minds. It's super frustrating for her. Then she sees a boy, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's cute." And then yada yada so forth. Then all of a sudden, she's making a Lord of the Rings reference in the first 30 pages, and then also using telekinesis to stop something from hitting her without jumping into spoilers. So yeah, at first it was kind of like, boom, here it is, world, go, now, you're in there. But that's not to say that it was bad. Overall impressions of the book, absolutely loved it, but we'll get into more detail as we move on. Highs, I would say, the pacing is wonderful. The characters are so rich, and this is for me refreshing, because I have delved into longer tome type books, really big books that tend to be a slow burn. They want to my initial impression is to say drag out, but they don't want to drag out the things that are going on, but they want to flesh it out. They want to be like, here's the main character, here's the baker over here, and let's go talk to him for 2 or 3 chapters and get to know his kids and his grandkids, and he has a dog, and oh, now the blacksmith, or you know what I'm saying? So it's there's this whole, I'm gonna flesh out everything, and we're gonna go really, really in depth, in detail. So it's not sacrificing detail for authenticity. The characters that you introduce, you care about them, you want to care about them. I will say one of the probably best highs of the book would probably be pacing for me. Pacing was wonderful. I didn't get bored. I didn't kind of get into the monotony of what's going on. There's a school element. So when I told my wife when I was first reading it, I was like, my first impression of this is if Rick Riordan, the Lightning Thief series, and Harry Potter had a baby. And then there's this little bit of a love triangle thing. And to be honest, I was kind of hoping that wouldn't take away from it or dampen the mood, and it didn't. So it was great. Okay, so lows. My biggest low would have been the lack of a villain established. There are bad guys in the novel that are going against the main characters and trying to stop the progression of, let's say, the good guy storyline versus progress the bad guy storyline, but it wasn't like a specific individual or like a leader or like a ringleader type thing, something to that effect. And that kind of left me wanting, but it wasn't so bad to the point where it took away from the novel, is what I'll say. So one other low for me was the little bit of Twilight-esque, this guy here, and he's cute, he gives me butterflies, and this other guy, and we're like really best friends, and we got this like connection thing going on. And then the third one was like just this like bad boy type guy, and I kind of don't know how I feel about him. There's something there, but maybe not something there. And don't get me wrong, that's a personal opinion. That's not taking away from the book, because it is YA, and I do notice that it was in the reviews and everything, there's a lot of younger girls and even women and so forth that are like, oh, this is so cute. It's it's this fuzzy ooey gooey love story, and it's like barf. No, it's cute, and it didn't take away from the overall story, and they didn't focus on it too much. But I don't know. I just didn't enjoy even the brief moments where it was happening. It's like, okay, like you like this one guy, like spoiler alert, it's this guy right here. His name is Fitz, and yeah, it's kind of like that's your guy, so stick with your guy. We don't have to add all the other stuff in, but that's personal opinion. Let's jump right into content review. So this is good information for those who haven't been to this channel before. This is something that I like to do. This is what the primary reason I have this channel is, to read the book, let you know if there's any content that you should be wary of or that may not be age appropriate depending on who you're reading it to or who you're allowing it to read. So most of the information I can give you for this book is relatively clean through and through. There's not really any elements of spirituality, I guess you could say, so you don't have to worry about any of that. There is magic, but it's even a lighter version. You're not even getting anywhere near anything that Brandon Sanderson hits on, or Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, type wizard stuff. It's not even like Harry Potter-esque. There are classes, there are things that you're learning, there are abilities, but it's very low-key, it's very light, it's very calm. Most of this book is centered around the family. The main character, her trauma that she's been, and I didn't mention it before, but her name is Sophie. So the trauma that she's been experiencing in her life due to different reasons, I won't spoil. And when she does find individuals who care about her, who genuinely care about her and express love to her, she doesn't know how to react to it. And I think that's like one of the central pieces of the book that I attach to the most. I love that. I love, as a Christian, being able to see people's different expressions, whether they're believers or not. I believe love comes from God. And so when love in the purest expression is shown, or somebody is receiving it not due to something that they're doing, that's something that's incredibly beautiful. And there are other characters in here, including the main character Sophie, but others as well who have experienced abuses or cold or neglect from their parents. So overall, there's not much besides maybe one or two words throughout the book that you would have to be concerned about. The rest, good to go. Okay, so overall review time. I gave this book a 4.275. It's almost a 4.3. If you're wondering how I came up with those numbers, I actually have this really cool system that maybe you'd be interested in. I just felt like picking a number out of thin air. So yes, not even anything mathematical behind it. I just said it. So there it is, 4.275. I don't usually have very high ratings for some books unless they're very, very good, which I'm going to use any and every opportunity to plug Brandon Sanderson, because every one of his books have a 5-star rating. Check my Goodreads. You'll see the different books that I think are masterpieces. Some of them are really, really good. And yeah, I just think Brandon Sanderson is literally the best author in the world right now. And anyways, back to the book. So we will definitely be continuing reading This book, I only took off like a little bit more than half a star because of the slight rush at the very beginning. Like everything was like, boom, we're going in the story, go, go, go. And then after everything gets settled, there's a few moments, very few moments, where it doesn't lag, but it hits that like love triangle thing. I'm thinking about bits and yeah, I don't know, but I like this other guy, you know. And so again, that's just not my cup of tea. It doesn't mean it's bad. Anything that I do rate higher than a 3, I do recommend personally. Within this section, I will say if there is a book that I could say catches the same vibe or theme, it would be Harry Potter, or as I said earlier, Rick Riordan's The Lightning Thief. That one is probably very close, apart from the gods and the different, you know, scope that he's trying to do with his books, which are great. So I do plan on continuing to read this in the next book here. You can't really see it, so maybe it'd be better if my wife took a picture of Exile and put it right here, maybe, possibly. But that's the next book, and we do plan on reading it here sometime pretty soon. Okay guys, closing thoughts. Again, this book is great. It is YA or young adult for those who don't know the terminology, but it's great in regards to pacing. As I've mentioned before, characters, are lovable, and the main character you can connect with. It's not this weird, for me, I disconnect from the characters when they have like too much trauma, or there's this like bundle of rage or bundle of da-da-da, and it's like, okay, like, I'm gonna get over it or what? And she doesn't present that. She struggles in the beginning, but she picks up really quickly. She feels connected to the place that she's finally a part of, and when she does get to be a part of a family, she's resistant throughout the book, but when she does get to be a part of it, legitimately, I like felt my tear ducts, you know, welling up, because it was just a beautiful moment, and just be honest about that. So that's Keeper of the Lost Cities. This is book 1 of Shannon Messenger's, again, 10-book series so far. She may be doing more, but look forward to more reviews in the future. Again, book 2 will be Exile. So that's everything we have for Shannon Messenger's The Keeper of the Lost Cities book 1. Stick around for just a few more minutes and hear about some interesting direction we're going to go with the next book series we have to read, as well as some DNFs in the future. All right, so moving forward, we are going to start the giant journey of the Wheel of Time. Yay! I hope that this is going to be fruitful. I got to be honest with you guys. I have started the Wheel of Time before. I went all the way up to book 5, and I was enjoying it. So it's not that I didn't finish or I gave up. But what happened is funny enough, I got into Brandon Sanderson. Somebody told me that Robert Jordan passed away, and I was on book 5. I was like, so I'm just not gonna get to finish this book series? I'm really enjoying it. And they're like, no, this guy, Brandon Sanderson, finished it for him. And they like went into how like Brandon Sanderson did like a beautiful eulogy online, and then Robert Jordan's wife got him to finish it through different things. You can find all the information out online, but long story short, I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this guy finishing a book series that's not by the original author. So I said, let me check out Brandon Sanderson. Well, here we are. I've read everything that Brandon Sanderson has that's Cosmere related. I've started the White Sands, and there's a couple non-Cosmere related stuff I also have. But back on topic, Wheel of Time, we're starting from book 1 again. I'm excited this time. I don't have anything over my head. I was telling my wife that the thing that I was nervous about was starting it and then possibly gassing out, because I have seen some reviews that like book, I think 6 or 7, it tends to really durdle and like get slow and boring. Boring doesn't bother me as long as they are building context, they are sharing relevant information. So in general, I'm very excited for the Wheel of Time. Again, starting it back at book 1, we made it to book 5, got about halfway through, but we'll get back there, and we'll be doing a book by book review of each one of those per the regular standards that we do on this channel. So the next video that we're going to be doing, I'm looking at them right now, so I keep looking to the right. There are 2 books that have already met my did not finish or DNF list. And my next video will be about both of those videos in one. And I'm frustrated about one of the 2 that I did not get to read it because of specific things in the book we'll be discussing in the next video. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, say thank you to those who've made it this far. I am very grateful to each one of you, and also I want to tell you guys that I'm thankful for God in my life and for my wife, my children, and if it's all the same to you, I just want to wish you a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at, and God bless you. I'll see you in the next video. Stick around. I'm going to link my previous video somewhere in here, and then I'm going to link somebody who has got me into fantasy even more, kind of a different depth than maybe Daniel Green, and his YouTube channel is called The Library of a Viking, and he has a ton of different top 10s, top 100s for fantasy specifically. I highly recommend you check out his channel. Well, as always, I am Daniel. Thanks for coming by No Regrets, and till the next video, no awkwardness this time. See you later.